Hello, everyone. It is my special honor to welcome all of you to the first Global Clinical Engineering event. Taking advantage of the virtual conferences ideas that Zoom provide us, I expect that this event will be exciting, informative, and engaging session for colleagues across the four corners of the world. My name is Yadin David, and I'm proudly serve as the interim president of the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance. You all know that the COVID-19 era taught us, unfortunately, hard lessons. Among them are that the world needs to be more prepared to meet pandemic emergency, better integrated, and able to manage healthcare assets not only just in the hospital domain, but more so at the country, region, and international level. When in March 2020, the World Health Organization called on us, we realized that an international clinical engineering platform is missing and needed. The Global Clinical Engineering Alliance, otherwise known as GCEA, is a US registered charitable and education entity that is organized as a not-for-profit organization and is dependent on volunteers, just like all the panelists here and most of you, and the founder council. Each one of them contribute immensely to carry out the Alliance mission. All the officers and the GCA manager, Kaliroy Stavriano, that is in the background, make sure that everything is flowing correctly, are passionate volunteers that rally together because we believe that by collaborating along an international alliance, we will make the healthcare delivery system more appropriate, more accessible, with an integrated continuum of patient care that is safer and resulting in more efficient outcomes that will elevate patient experiences and benefit humanity everywhere. As it's stated in our name, we build alliances within the clinical engineering profession and between our profession and other stakeholders, all within the healthcare delivery system, from clinicians to administrators, from our profession, researchers, innovator, practitioners, to industry, academia. Everybody is invited to develop alliances and relationship with us. And our field, therefore, will be developing more opportunity for all of us to contribute, to have a satisfactory careers, and will receive, our field then will receive higher recognition for this contribution. You know, GCA is an international organization that was created by clinical engineers, administered by clinical engineers, and uniquely serve the clinical engineering field, both for technologies and technicians, as well as for engineers, that providing a unified voice that advocates and educates our own members and the public about the benefit to humanity from the tenets of our profession. We're not here to intervene in any operation of individual association, but rather to offer a platform for sharing expertise and for building together what I would identify as a thriving clinical engineering village. All clinical engineering associations should join the village, creating an important center for developing alliances between our associations as well as with other practitioners who are all hardworking to improve the delivery of care everywhere. If I can have the agenda, please, share with all of you. In today's agenda, you will see, meet, and hear members of the Founder Council. Each one of them is extremely qualified, experienced, and expert in the field. They will, the council represent 4 corners of the world. They come from Canada, Brazil, the US, the UK, Greece, Italy, South Africa, Japan, China. It's amazing that we have this kind of council driving our association. And therefore, we have input from different cultures, different standards, different best of care to make sure that we optimize everything together. Each of the council funders will describe reasons and for creating the alliance and why you should be part of it. They will further describe the operation that they are leading within the alliance. Following that, as you can see on the agenda, after the introductory note and the benefits of joining, we will go through the committees and describe and explain the functionality and administration of the alliance. Second part of the agenda will start with the awards ceremony, where we will announce the individual and association that were recognized this year for excellence in the field. Following that, we will have members' presentation. We would like to learn from each association, what are they working on, what is happening in their part of the world, and what are the challenges they're facing, so we together, we can find out what common challenges we face and perhaps come up with some idea to address them at the end of the session today. As we progress through the agenda, we will post polling questions to better understand where you are located and what are your needs. And we will also have a chat box at the bottom of the screen and a Q&A button. Those 2 buttons are available for all of you to communicate with us, with each other, to place comments. And in the Q&A, all your questions and comments will go directly to the faculty, and we will try to address them as they come up. Thank you all for joining, regardless of the time in your locality. As a matter of fact, a couple of our founder councils in Japan and China are actually late at night over there. But as I said, they're passionate to be part of this alliance and share with you their expertise. I will now have the privilege to invite Professor Daniel Clark, the head of the CE department in Nottingham University Hospitals in the UK, and recipient of the Officer of the Order of the British Empire, known as OBE. It's amazing recognition received from the late Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II for services he provided to clinical engineering, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic. My honor then to give the microphone to you.
Yeah, Dean, thank you so much. And thank you for those warm words of introduction. You know, there are some huge challenges facing healthcare globally right now. Challenges around access to health resources and health professionals. Challenges around capacity of healthcare systems and providers. And challenges around resources and costs. And of course, challenges about sustainability. Now, there's always been challenges in our field, of course, but they do seem to be growing. And if we're honest, I guess we kind of know why. And generally speaking, as a population, we tend to be getting older, we tend to be getting fatter, we tend to be getting more prone to long-term conditions like diabetes, like CHD, like dementia. Our life expectancies globally have risen sharply over the past few decades, but our expectations and demands on the healthcare systems, well, they've risen even more so. We now expect to be treated for, and indeed cured of, conditions and diseases that just a generation ago we were prepared to live with and in fact die from. And I say this like it's a bad thing. Of course, it's not a bad thing. It's a really good news story. As an industry, healthcare has been incredibly successful. But now, in many ways, we're becoming victims of our own success. There are more and more people expecting more and more healthcare, and the cost of meeting this expectation is increasing faster, much, much faster than the resources we have at our disposal. So we face huge challenges in healthcare right now. How do we meet this increased demand for healthcare whilst at the same time delivering improved efficiencies so that we can manage within our resources and provide healthcare systems that are sustainable into the future? Well, the solution to this challenge will very largely be through technology. Technology that diagnoses rapidly and accurately, preventing or reducing the worsening healthcare conditions which bring about such personal and healthcare system burdens. Technology that treats more quickly, more fully, allowing people to be treated and discharged sooner from our hospitals and returning them to improved health conditions with reduced costs to the healthcare systems. Technology that enables us to reach people in remote settings and allows us to look after people in their own homes and within their own daily lives, perhaps even preventing them from becoming ill in the first place. Technology that will help us reduce our carbon footprint and move us towards our targets of net zero ambitions. But where's this technology all going to come from? Who's going to design it, to develop it, to deploy it? Well, clinical engineers, of course. And who's going to manage this technology, make sure it's in the right place at the right time and in the right condition? Well, clinical engineers, of course. And who's going to maintain this technology, keeping it safe and effective in order to provide high quality healthcare? Well, clinical engineers, yes, of course. And where are these clinical engineers going to come from? Who's going to create them, support them, train them, nurture them? Who's going to raise the profile, provide training and development, build capacity, gain recognition? Well, that's where the GCEA comes in. As Yadin says, the GCEA was founded by clinical engineers, is run by clinical engineers, for clinical engineers. It provides a platform for resources to support clinical engineers all over the world, provides contacts and networks of practicing clinical engineers to mentor and support each other. It provides education and awareness seminars and support. It provides templates and standards to help build capacity. And being an alliance, it reaches out to other partners to bring people together who are working in our field from every and each branch of healthcare, from academia, from industry, and of course, from healthcare professions themselves. And perhaps most importantly of all, it creates a platform for partnerships and networks to raise our profile, to raise the profile of clinical engineers who have for so long been, well, ignored, I guess, and certainly underrepresented in the corridors of power. And only when we can raise our profile can we gain the recognition that we deserve for the work that we do. Only when we gain that recognition can our value be acknowledged. And only when our value is acknowledged will we see investment in our resources, training, capacity building, and for our wider profession. Only through this investment can we build our profession, strengthen our teams, and develop our services that we deliver. And ultimately, only through developing these services can we contribute to maximize the potential of technology for the benefit of patients. And that, after all, is what clinical engineering is all about. So being a part of GCEA, supporting our goals, is ultimately one of the best ways to improve global healthcare, which is why I am so proud to be on the Founders Council of GCEA, and why I make a plea to anybody and everybody working in our field to come and join us. Yadin, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. As always, to the point, wise comments, except the fact that we're becoming fat and older, that I probably will debate that as much as I can. Thank you, Dan. I'm very happy to have with us today another Founder Council member, Meladen Poluta, a very distinguished teacher in the field, a very good friend. And next on the agenda, I will ask him to give his view on the reason why all national societies should be members of the Alliance. And I would like just to let you know that Meladen is located in Cape Town in South Africa, where previous to his present job, he was at the University of Cape Town, served as director of the health technology at the Department of Health, and established the first and only healthcare technology management academic program in the university. So it is my honor, Meladen, to give you the microphone.
Thank you, Yadin. It's always tough to follow Dan Clark, OBE. Thank you for inspiring us, Dan. I'm going to be fairly brief and really speak to you as a patient. I happen to be right now in the suite of a surgical specialist in the Chris Barnard Memorial Hospital in Cape Town on the harbour waterfront. I've just had a stress ECG. Thank God all clear. But my point here is that as a patient that I was privileged to receive, to be able to consult with a professional, to have access to the technology that was needed to conduct an important examination on me, and to come up at least with a diagnosis that can guide future action. And I think if we go back to Adriana Velasquez Berumen, her mantra is that it is all about access to medical devices at point of care. So for me, this is probably the most important impact that clinical engineering practitioners everywhere do have, is to help ensure that appropriate, affordable, accessible medical devices are available to all patients when needed, at the time that they need it. And that for me is a working definition of universal health coverage. More broadly, I think that we are a global clinical engineering family across all cadres and all levels. And I feel privileged to be part of this movement. It is something that I've been part of for many years. And I do think that we've now moved to a new level. And to just tag on to what Dan said, I also think that why GCEA? I think the way that GCEA has been structured in terms of its constitution, bylaws, operations, vision, it is a broad house. It invites all clinical engineering practitioners and also stakeholders that work alongside with us to partner with us, because as Yadin keeps reminding us, better together. So it is a broad church and allows us to partner with, if you like, non-conventional stakeholders that have a need that works alongside us to meet a common outcome. So I feel privileged to be part of it. And why GCEA? The very fact that we are meeting now and that we are having this meeting, for me, is probably the most important reason why I would urge all of you listening in who are not part of GCEA yet, to join us. Thank you, Yadin.
Thank you, Meladen. And I'm so happy with the result of your stress EKG. I knew down there someplace there is a good heart. You're awesome. Thank you. And we now move to Stefano Bergamasco, a very good friend of mine from Italy that has many years of experience at the point of care, of understanding the technology, evaluating not only the performance, but compliance with regulatory, as he is doing through the MedTech Project Consulting Company and as a collaborator with ECRI within Italy. Stefano, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Yadin, and thanks to everyone. I was thinking as I was preparing for this important meeting, if I should just speak like this or use a couple of slides. And then it came to my mind that time flies. More than 1 year ago, I delivered a presentation during one of our webinars, and I find striking that it's still so relevant. So I would like to use just a couple of slides and just to show you how this keeps to be relevant. So I'd like to use this. That was there was a webinar in September 21, and I was speaking about why GCEA is important for our profession and why the Italian Clinical Engineers Association decided to join. I will not speak on behalf of the association because Umberto Noca, our president, will be here with us later in the second part of this meeting. But a couple of key points I think are relevant for every society that may be considering to join the Alliance. So we have a long history as an association of international relationships, but what's important is we have a list of strategic goals, and I think that this is relevant for almost any society dealing nationally with clinical engineering. So doing partnerships with the university, industry, and institutions, promote professional development, promote professional recognition, do research and data analysis, and grow the association. And these are surprisingly aligned with the goals, the founding principles of the Alliance. I will just show them here in these slides. You can find it, and all the audience can find it in the beautiful website of our Alliance. So the general goals of the Alliance are really aligned with the general goals of our society, but not only. Again, going back to this presentation of last year, we had a meeting with other societies across Europe, and we were talking about the struggling during the COVID period and why networking with one another would be important. And we found common ground and key messages from all the speakers were really aligned again. Recognition of the clinical engineering profession, providing support to each other, exchange of knowledge, standardization and dissemination of maintenance and regulatory guidelines, the need for the voice of clinical engineers to be heard, increased lobbying and legislation for clinical engineers, the need to fight disinformation, and the need to improve collaboration at local, national, and international level. These have been, more than 1 year ago, key messages from speakers from many societies across Europe. And again, these are totally aligned with the mission of the Alliance that Yadin and Daniel and Mladen were explaining just before me. And our society joined in 2021, and I have to say the registration program is really easy and straightforward. No hassle, no bureaucracy. This is, I mean, I don't want to make just this is not a sales pitch, but I think it's relevant also to consider that if your society, and I'm speaking now to all the audience here, if your society is considering joining the Alliance because you see that our goals are aligned with your needs and goals, the process to join is really, really easy. And I closed the presentation with this citation because we feel that a national society can get value from the Alliance, but they can also give value to the Alliance and to the other societies. And important remark, and it was my closing remark, all this is voluntary work. So everyone is called to do his own contribution, but no special efforts are required. It's not a commitment for life. We are not marrying. It's a commitment. It's important, but everyone can give their small bit of contribution to the big effort that we all together are doing. As Yadin always says, how do you say, Yadin? Together we do it better, or something like that, which is true, because if you feel that you must do something very big, maybe people is scared to take a commitment, but it's not that big commitment. It's more bringing value all together and receiving value. So I would like really to close, as I closed last year, with this call to action. Because yeah, we speak a lot, we listen interesting concepts, but we need to act. And the simple call to action, if you feel that joining the Alliance is a good idea, join now, this afternoon. You can just download the registration form, go to our website and check on the registration form webpage, and it's really easy. So we would like our membership base to grow, to be more societies, more people, and because all this will bring more and more value to the global clinical engineering community. Thanks a lot. I would stop sharing and really thank Yadin and all the other friends of the Founder Council for the opportunity and honor for me to be part of this group. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. It's a very practical comments. And like Stefano said, go to www.globalcea.org, and under membership, you will find a short form and simple instruction how you can apply. Practical advice for all who are not members yet. How are we doing with the polling questions? Yes, we have it in Spanish, I guess. Okay. We're going to have, I believe, 4 group of polling questions. I will ask everyone to check the appropriate box for him or her. And the first one, the region where you are practicing now is Africa, Middle East, Europe, North America, South America, or the Asia Pacific, as Meladen advised me to identify the region. Please mark it. And then the second polling question, in my country, clinical engineering profession is represented by an association. Yes, it does. No, it does not. It is part of another association, and I'm not sure. I need to find out. So take a moment. We'll close the polling question in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. I don't know if we can show the results, but I will like to move to, oh, you do have results. Nice. European has a strong presence today. And on the second question, by far, there are clinical engineering associations at the national level. Some are not sure. And some say they don't have an association. The Alliance would like to help you create an association where none are existing. That's part of our goal. Let's move ahead to Li Bin, who is in Shanghai, China, late at night, but staying up for us, and I appreciate that. Li Bin is the chairman of the Society for Clinical Engineering in China under the Medical Association. Very large, very important, very active organization, and a very good friend of mine from many, many years. One day he promised that he will make me a Mandarin-speaking American. Until then, Lee, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Yati. I'm Li Bin from Shanghai, China. It's my great honor to take my speech. The benefit of join the GCEA, I would say this is a special time. There's a lot of challenges we needed to together face it, including the epidemic challenge, including some challenge of the digital medicine. Also, in these special times, we needed some more solutions, need more for the some things for the protection and diagnosis and the treatment, special things for this epidemic. So we needed together, we needed to fight to this epidemic. Another benefit for the join the GCEA, because the GCEA can together with the global clinical engineering organization and has a global resource related to the clinical engineering and release relevant global information and deliver the most timely information to our CE around the world. The third benefit, the GCEA has established an academic platform, including a global journal of the clinical engineering, which is, can provide an academic exchange platform for our global CEs. Especially this is very important for our CEs in China, because if what this CE in China want to promote in their career, they needed to get some papers, especially for the SAI cited paper, to improve their abilities. That's in the China. The third benefit is through such a professional organization, we can contact the global CE organization around the world, hold regular meetings with all these friends. We can exchange our experience, share successful case, and also sometimes we can get some relevant professional award on this platform. The fourth, we can through this organization, we can communicate and more organization, including the WHO, to expand our influence of our clinical engineering and to show our outstanding achievement on the clinical engineering field to others, to make them more cognitions for our CEs. Another benefit is through this organization, we can coordinate to work with the global CE organization, including make some activities like the celebration of the International Clinical Engineer Day. We can make the various overcovers various countries. We can participate in different country, make the same celebration, and make more influence to others. That's great. So we should join it. That's all. Thank you, Yadin.
Thank you, Lee. Very good. I like the way you put the numbers next to the reasons so we can follow your idea. That's perfect. And you did mention important parts of the Alliance, like the Global Clinical Engineering Journal, that you can find in the Alliance website, as well as going to globalce.org and submit your manuscript. And the foundation, both are a unique feature of the Alliance, and we'll cover those later on the agenda. We now will go to Nicholas Palakarakis in Patras. I believe retired professors at the University of Patras, the grandfather of clinical engineering in that part of the world, and mentor to many, many people who are now practicing, including our Alliance manager, Kali Roy Stavriano, and that is great. Nicholas, I don't know where to start mentioning all the awards you received. You deserve each one of them. But I decided that for this purpose, I'm going to identify you as an avid sailor. And one of the great things that were done is when I was invited to Greece, Nicholas took me on his boat and we sailed in the Mediterranean in Little Island, and then he pushed me off the board into the water. And I said, "What happened, Nicholas?" And he said, "Oh, we're going to swim to have lunch in the restaurant. Can't you see it over there?" And that was extremely nice experience. Thank you, Nicholas, for being such a nice host and for everything you've done to the field. I asked Nicholas to tell us a little bit about the functioning of the Alliance, because we're going through a transition period, and how we manage that until the first general election. Nicholas, please.
Thank you very much, Yadin. I think you gave all the details about my age and my hobby, and thank you so much. I will try to share the screen, although I have not too many things to show you. I will be very brief because after the presentations, but it's difficult to share my screen, doesn't matter. After the presentations that have been made by my very best colleagues, I believe that some of you are not listening to me. They have gone already to GCEA site and they are filling in the application form to join if they belong to a society that is not yet a society that belongs to GCE. On what has been said, that I think that it is very convincing from all points of view, I will add one more reason to join GCEA. If you want GCEA to survive and give the benefits to the clinical engineers worldwide, we have to assure the continuity. And to assure the continuity, we need to have the societies to take over the responsibility of the alliance. And in order to do that, we need to have elections. But in the elections, we have only the member organizations and the elected officers that have voting rights. And as you know, member organizations are national and transnational societies of clinical engineers, of biomedical engineering societies, or similar societies of clinical engineering technologies and technicians. All other kinds of members have not voting rights. So I think it is necessary to go through the next step for the completion of the creation of GCEA. GCEA has constitution, has bylaws, has demonstrated an enormous work during those 3 years, and especially under the leadership of Yadin and Tom and the creativity that they have, we did a lot of things that we are proud of. But in order to pass to the new phase that will be the phase that GCEA will continue its life and continue to support clinical engineers, we have to make happen the critical number of member organizations to join the alliance. And this is a necessity in order to have elections. So far, we have only 10 MOs. We need, to my opinion, to reach at least 20 in order to be able to go for elections. And I hope that after this meeting, you will contact the national or international societies, council members that you know, in order to convince them to take, if you want, connection with us and fulfill application forms. This is the only way to make the alliance become a reality and look to the future with a lot of confidence. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nicholas. 50 years from now, we will all enjoy the words that we were only few in 2022 and we grew to be many just short month later because they listened to your message carefully. Thank you. I wonder if Iris can put the next polling question. Thank you. I was asked through text messages from the audience to leave the questions a little bit longer so people can respond. So the next group is a little bit more about what's available in your locality. Is there not an association in your country? If there is not an association in your country, do you need assistance to establish one? No, already have a clinical engineering association is the first response. Yes, we would love to have help. And the third answer, there is an association, but is not active. For both of the last question, we will be happy to help. The next question, is there an academic program in your country that prepares students for clinical engineering career? No, is the first answer. Yes, we have sufficient such programs and opportunity. Third answer, yes, we only have few such programs. And the fourth one, not sure. If you will check the pertinent answer to you, please do it now. On one of the texts I received, an individual said, well, I'm from several locations. How would I respond? And I would suggest that take the most pertinent to your practice or to your future and mark that. We have members from 4 corners of the world on the event today. Please take a moment, mark it up, and then we will show you the results. We do have a clinical engineering association. That's great. Let's make sure that they are members of the alliance. And as far as academic program, we have sufficient number and we have only few such program is split about even, and about 11% said no, we don't have academic program in clinical engineering. And there, I would say we need to help career growth and help create those. Thank you very much, Iris, and thank you all for responding. I will now move to the next item on the agenda. Dr. James Weir from Arkansas State in the US, a very experienced individual that has been involved in teaching, training around the world. The interesting part about Jim is not only that he received the Lifetime Achievement Award from ACCE and the Bob Morris Humanitarian Award also from ACCE, but that he is bearing a very interesting compilation of affiliation. He has a doctorate degree, I believe, in chemistry, if I'm not wrong. He is certified clinical engineer, certified health safety professional. He's a fellow of ACCE, fellow of the American Society of Hospital Engineer, fellow of AMBE, and fellow of AIC. Is that something to do with chemistry, Jim? I wasn't sure what it is, but it is my pleasure for me to invite you to speak about the membership process.
Okay, thank you, Yadin. I think, as Yadin has said, I'm not a clinical engineer, but I probably have been in the field longer than anybody else on the Founders Council since I started in the field in 1969. And I've been certified as a in the clinical engineering profession, not as a clinical engineer. And that's what the US program is. It's in the clinical engineering profession since 1972, in fact, helped start the program. And it worked in a lot of that kind of thing. In fact, background-wise, I was one of the initiators of the clinical engineering program for the Department of Veterans Affairs, which is the largest healthcare system in the US kind of thing. And also did the training in that program, trained engineers, technicians, also trained hospital engineers and hospital safety people. So I've got a, maybe my problem is I can't decide what I want to do kind of thing. But anyway, I think a lot of things that I have to say have already been said. But I think one of the things is, again, that this is the Alliance is a nonprofit organization, not a business venture. We're not trying to make money with it or anything. We're trying to promote the field of clinical engineering around the world. And again, we're looking at members being technicians, technologists, and engineers, and people like me from related areas kind of thing. And I think as we look at that, our membership organizations, and Nicholas has talked about the membership organizations, which is organizations that are in various countries, they're the ones that vote and elected. We got 10 of those. We'd like to have 10 more kind of thing. We also have industry-based organizations. We have one of those from India, which is the, again, somebody else that can be there. We have other related professional organizations, you know, medical, nursing, scientific, allied health, anybody that is related to the field of healthcare really can become a member organization in the Alliance. And we have these different areas. We'd also like to have philanthropic organizations become members. So anyway, you know, I can't imagine anybody listening on this that's not a member of some organization that couldn't become a member of the Alliance kind of thing. We also accept individual members where there is not a member organization in their country. And right now we have about 10 of those. And I think I have about 10 applications that are in the process being done right now. We have in the organizations that are currently members of the Alliance, they have somewhere between 25 and 30,000 members. So we do have a membership base out there that we're looking at. The organization in India, which is a industry-based organization, has 114 companies that are part of that organization kind of thing. So I think we're looking at this, you know, as I've been in the field a long time, I've visited a lot of programs, a lot of associations around the world. And, you know, I think one of the things is being a member of the organization, we also can learn from each other. And I've visited some very small organizations, and I can't think of any organization that I've been to that I didn't learn something. And I think that's the thing, is we work in the area of clinical engineering, we learn from each other. So I would hope, I guess I hope, I'm not sure about that. But anyway, I'd like for anybody out there to go to our website, fill out the application form, and, you know, tomorrow is my 85th birthday. So how about giving that to me as a birthday present? I think. And I would like to see us get 10, 20 new organizations and a lot of individual members. And then that'll give me something to do for the next few days kind of thing. Thank you very much.
Very, very appropriate, Jamie, is for us to perhaps take a second and sing happy birthday to you. If you all join me, let's do it. Happy birthday to you.
Congratulations.
Yes, you all present to Jim. Go to the membership page on the Alliance. Great, great. Let's go next to Khalil Saidi from Brazil. Khalil, not sure if you are in Campinas or in Sao Paulo, but regardless, I think many people know Professor Khalil from the Development and Training Center for Biomedical Engineering in Campinas. And Khalil is a very good friend. I know that he's speaking not only from the heart, he's speaking truth. And I am looking forward to hear from you, Khalil. What are we doing in the Alliance regarding professional development and education, and why people on the call today should come and join your committee?
Thank you, Yadin. Greetings to all. Before I go to the presentation of the Obesity Education Committee, I would like to say one thing. It's very nice to be part of this group, the Founders Council. And I think when a group of people want to have one objective, you become friends. You become, like, for instance, Yadin singing the birthday to Jim, because we feel that we are friends. We are not forcing a situation, it's there. And this is nice, and I believe, as Jim said, in the future, or Palikaraki said, that in the future, we would like to see GCEA going on, and with friends also here in the council. So that's the nice thing to be a member of this council. I would say, I will share some slides with you. Sorry, here, share. Yeah. Well, I am the chair of the Educational Programs Committee, okay, from GCEA. It seems to be an easy task, but it isn't. It's really difficult. When you have, let's just say, you are part of a university educational thing, then it's fine. You have fixed professors, fixed teachers, and you have fixed disciplines. But in our case, it's every month you have one different subject, and you have to find two to three speakers for this subject, and you have to divide those subjects into 2 or 3 parts to make it, well, more or less understandable. And this is the difficult part. Well, the objectives of this committee is responsible for receiving, creating, managing all educational and scientific projects to be developed within the technical and financial support with the financial support of GCEA. We normally are having speakers, I would say voluntary speakers, but we are thinking in more and more activities for the educational committee. The committee members, Nathan, you already heard, Jim, you already heard, Stefano also, Nicholas, you already heard, myself, and we ask for help from Jennifer Otto, that is from the Health Technology Foundation, that is also part of the GCEA. So this is the group we are always discussing all the time, every month, to say, well, who we're going to call, who is going to be the subject, how we divide the subject. So I normally have a great help from them, normally have. Now, what we do now in the educational committee is we already presented 11 webinars, and we are taking the process of continuity, so we are not stopping there. There are more and more. Every month you have to organize one webinar, and as I said, in different subjects. And we are also now, it's under construction, but we are discussing the possible things like project management, total cost ownership, techniques for project presentation, and so on and on. We normally exchange ideas on what is a very good project for clinical engineers worldwide. And of course, we need your help, of course. And it's difficult just for a small group of people to start thinking all the time new subjects. So my task here is to present this one, but we do that, but we need volunteers for the to participate in the commission. We need volunteers to discuss future subjects, volunteers to find speakers for those subjects, and also to be a speaker. At the beginning, we normally had the speakers where the members of the Founders Council, please help me, we need a speaker, can you do that? And we have very expert speakers in the Founders Council. But then we have to broaden the subjects and then find different people outside the box, as we say. And this is why I would like to have your help. So even if you are not just a panelist, but also that you are listening here, please contact me and say, I would like to help the educational process, it will be very helpful for us, having people outside and having different ideas. So this is my email. So if you please take a note, call me and say, look, I would like to help, and I'll be willing to respond and discuss with you. Okay, thank you very much.
Unmute, Yadin.
Great, Khalil. Thank you very much for a good summary of your committee activity. We are looking for volunteers from members society to join the committee. We're looking for speakers, volunteers, and we have very rich program that Khalil is running as part of the education program. What I want you to take a look at, and Khalil smartly put a slide about the professional development mission and purpose. I would like to remind you that we have on our website our first annual report. I believe something like 30-page report of what we have done in the first 12 months of the Global Alliance. And from that, I took a page about what is our mission and vision. And you know, the vision is the global picture for the long term. The mission is something that we want to do in the short term. And the vision is, as you see, optimized development and deployment of safe and efficient technological tool through transformation and alignment of the global clinical engineering knowledge, exactly what Khalil has talked about. Our mission is to build international foundry, a place where you mold and create pieces of art, I would say, pieces of knowledge instead of art, that we all enjoy being part of the art of creating them, and to maximize, therefore, the benefit for patients and for their care providers from the clinical engineering expertise and healthcare technology, while minimize risks and costs associated with it. Simple and to the point. By the way, I already received questions from the audience. One specifically asked, how can I become a member? And just one more time to remind everybody, go to the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance website, globalcea.org, go to membership and apply. That will be great. Okay, let's take a look at the agenda, Kaliroy. And Kaliroy Stavriano. And next, we'll go to discuss the important subject of collaboration and liaison. We have some very good news to share, as well as a letter. And I'll ask Tom to start. And I try to think in my mind, how would I introduce Tom? A graduate of the US Naval Academy, a Top Gun pilot. What else can you say about Tom, except started his career in Johns Hopkins and continued through Kaiser Permanente. Half of his career is in quality and patient safety, and the other half in National Clinical Engineering Project Director. He received many awards. He is the past president of the Clinical Engineering Division of IFMBE. He's fellow of ACCE, HIMSS, and AIMBE, and received just recently the Lifetime Achievement Award, very appropriately, from ACCE. A good friend, and delightful to give you the mic.
Thank you, Yadin. It would have been enough if you had just said he's my brother. In fact, Jim, our first gift to you is this tent, because in this umbrella on the side of the tent that covers all of us, because
you're not sharing?
Through my mouth.
Okay. Sorry.
So I know everybody. I mean, stop, close your eyes. Imagine a tent, a very large tent, with those little umbrellas on the side, not the pretty ones you have in the drink, but the the big umbrellas. And we're not only friends, we are friends, Khalil, but we're also family. And I'm so delighted to be a part of this family. This family is growing. There's many creative ways to join the family. We've already heard that today. Yeah, I've got I'm on two spots here, one camera not working, but what's the evidence that we're a large family and that we want to collaborate and be a part, and liaison with others is, the over 120 countries that joined us for our Congress last year. But that was last year. This year, we've had this body of knowledge, body of practice survey. Many of you participated in. There's still time. Over 120 countries have participated in our body of knowledge, body of practice survey as we dissect what's the different practice around the world. There's over 30 countries with us today from every region of the world as WHO sees the world. So, by the way, in that survey, we have a goal of 1,000 responses. We have over 700 so far, and it's still growing. Join us in that. Let's see. Sorry, getting a call from another family member right there, but I put that off. Our family includes all kinds of practitioners. Not only clinical engineers, biomedical engineers, technicians, technologists, professors, researchers, what WHO defines as CE practitioners. We want to be in collaboration with all of you in different ways. One evidence of that is our projects this year around capacity building, impact measurement, credentialing, policy, and WHO. We have leaders from all those regions of the world working together. When we start to talk about collaboration, we've got to talk about WHO. Adriana's not with us today. We have a statement from her. She's on a personal issue, but from the beginning, the clinical engineering community, global community has partnered with WHO, and that's so important to us as we reach out to all kinds of people everywhere. Different ones of us have clinicians in our family, personally and close by. Clinicians, doctors and nurses and others are important to us for collaboration. It's been mentioned we're in collaboration and we work with industry. In recent years, we've had the privilege of being a part of the International Hospital Federation, all the hospital leaders around the world, IOMP, the medical physicists, government and ministries of health. In our wider global community of nearly 600 of us from 200 countries today are active ministers of health and current and past ministers of health. We're working with NGOs like the Every Breath Counts community that has 200 different NGOs around the world, Gates and Clinton and many, many others. We want to be partnered and are on the way to be partnered with think tanks. So this is just a small vision of how we might work together to change healthcare delivery. Yadi?
Thank you, Tom. Elliot, I don't know if you want to join here or during the.
No, this is fine. I'd like to say a few words about liaison, and it relates to some of the questions we're seeing in the Q&A box. What is GCEA doing on behalf of clinical engineers and biomedical engineers? We were called on by the WHO back in February of 2020 as this pandemic began to explode. They called on us to call on you, to call on the community. They called us as a single point of contact of trusted leadership that was really global, had no agenda to push US or European or any other perspective. And because of that call and trust, we have worked closely for the past 2.5 years, providing an almost bottomless amount of resource, capability, capacity to WHO and with WHO. We have created dozens of webinars on oxygen therapy, disinfection, product design, patient safety. There are so many different areas we have engaged on behalf. We've raised the visibility. So in the liaison area, I want to point out that we are helping our clinical engineering community have a seat at the table, a seat at the global table of leadership, a seat at the global table of questions and discussions, a seat at the global table of decision making. And our programs that we're going to discuss today also include getting us formally into the policy, into the planning, into the education. So we're trying to create a really a massive expansion of the visibility and impact that our broad profession provides in all corners of the world. And I will close saying I have been humbled in the past 2.5 years working with people, clinical engineers, Ministry of Health, WHO folks, who have brought to the table enormous innovations, incredible innovations, oxygen concentrators, disinfection methodologies, the ability to deploy telehealth and telemedicine. These are our colleagues, our sisters, our brothers, in so many areas that have been able to communicate across all the cultural, religious, political, geological, geographical areas. We've had an enormous outpouring of strength, capability, knowledge, innovation. And GCEA, again, that's why we have created this very, very large tent. Instead of looking at our own parochial narrow interests, working together. And that slogan of together we can make it better, I think is so correct for our community. Thank you, Yadin.
Thank you, Elliot. Elevating the reasons to join to the area of policy planning and expansion. Very, very well said.
Yadin, one more word. I just want to make it clear that GCEA is so incredibly partnered with the IFMBE Clinical Engineering Division. GCEA and CED march together, hand in hand. Many of you note that the new CED board led by Fabiola Martinez of Mexico is wonderful. It represents all the 6 regions of the world. Several of the board members are also on the GCEA Founders Council. I have the privilege, as Yadin did with me, to mentor Fabiola, and what a wonderful partnership. And so we march together. Back to you, Yadin.
Thank you, Tom, for adding that comment. Many people ask, what are the relationship between the Alliance and IFMBE? 2 comments that are exciting. Both Tom and Elliot refer to World Health Organization, WHO. I would like to take a moment and read a letter we received from Adriana Velasquez Berumen, who apologized for not being able to be here in person. The World Health Organization is very thankful for the support given by the chairs and members of the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance to assess health technology management parameters of innovative technology for low resource settings. The work was challenging, but looking forward to encouraging innovation to address the real needs on the ground with safe, effective, and affordable technologies. The compilation can be found in the 2021 and 2022 WHO Compendium of Innovative Technology for Low Resource Settings. Thank you for each and every one, especially colleagues from low and middle income countries that provided their insight. Sincere apology, I cannot be with you today, but encourage you to continue working, not to give up, and to remember that well-being of patients behind the medical technology is our goal. Take care. Adriana Velasquez Berumen, team lead in the medical technology and in vitro diagnostic unit at WHO. With that, I'll move on to our next part of our agenda, which is exciting, and that is the recognition program. And we have here the award committee chairperson, Keiko Fukuta.
Thank you, Yadin. Before I explain my section, I would like to explain why I like GCEA. We learn a lot from each other, even though we come from different countries, different age, gender, and culture. So I learn a lot. Thank you very much. So let me share my presentation paper. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Keiko Fukuta. I'm a chair of the GCEA Award Committee. And I would like to explain about the recognition programs such as Global Clinical Engineering Alliance. Okay, let me explain the aim of this award is to honor and promote the best model to worldwide. And secondly, utilize the activity of best model for your own improvement activities. And finally, we can improve international recognition of clinical engineering. And I would like to explain that we have now 2 awards. First is the Collaborative Capacity Building Award, which is for groups of a society for their contribution toward collaboration with other countries. Second is the new one. This year, we established a Technician Technology Leadership Award for a technician or technologist who show the demonstration of leadership. I think I will explain more detail of awards such as criteria, effort, and so on. Later on, we are going to have an award ceremony. So that time I will explain more. So let's move on. And this is our procedure. Every year, committee we gather the member of our committee and we create type of award description, criteria, and selection method. And finally, we call for recommendation. And about 2 months, we give people the time and we close the deadline 2 months later. And then we gathered all submission paper and we select the preferred nominee of the award. And so today we are going to announce the winner. And finally, probably maybe a couple of months later, we are going to make a webinar to, explain what they have done. Great job. So this is our procedure and expectation. We open the call for recommendation from July to June to July every year. So this means next year, please, nominate organizations and individual around you who have been doing best practice. And second expectation, we make a webinar which introduce the winner activity. So please participate in the webinar, which you can receive a lot of valuable information from the activity. My final message is, please, improve our international recognition of clinical engineering together. And we look forward to receiving a lot of award submission next year. I can put more information, we can put more information on the GCEA website, so please check it. Thank you very much. I think you're mute, Yadin.
Thank you, Keiko. I neglected to mention that Keiko was part of the Japan Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare before she joined as associate professor at the Medical Center for Transitional and Clinical Research Department at Medical Innovation in Osaka University Hospital in Japan. That's our pleasure. Kaliroy, do we have a video to play?
It's later on the agenda
Okay.
on the award ceremony.
Okay, thank you. Next, we'll move to Elliott Sloan and the Health Technology Foundation, which is a unique part of the Alliance. Very few societies in our field, if any, beside the Alliance, have such a treasure. Elliott Sloan has undergraduate and graduate degrees from Drexel University. I believe Cornell is the bachelor level. And he is a professor at the School of Business in Villanova University. He received many awards that I'm happy to see him receiving. He well-recognized as a fellow in the AIMB, ACCE, at HIMSS. He received the Excellence in Clinical Engineering and Information Technology Synergy Award from ACCE, a certified clinical engineer, and also received the Clinical Engineering Advocacy Award. My pleasure, Elliot, to give you the stage.
Thank you, Yadin, and thank you everybody around the globe for joining us today. The Healthcare Technology Foundation has quite a long history, actually. It was founded 20 years ago by ACCE alumni presidents such as Yadin, Jennifer Ott, Toby, myself. It was incorporated as a nonprofit charitable education and research organization focused on empowering clinical engineers to improve patient safety. The HTF was built over 2 decades by fundraising from donations for HTF's mission, and it's been led by volunteer clinical engineer leaders. It first focused on patient education, medical alarm safety, clinical engineering education and certification, and annual awards for CE leadership and education. And I'll give you my email address at the end if you want more details about any of those. I wanted to give you an example of the patient-facing information that we have provided in our brochures. We looked at the fact that 20 years ago already, healthcare was going on outside of hospitals, in the home, in alternate care facilities, nursing homes, and that patients were using medical devices and technologies that they really didn't understand. They didn't understand the safety, they didn't understand the application. And here we are during the pandemic where this has become global. So here's an example of a brochure that was written for patients in English. And here's an example of the same brochure that was translated to Spanish. We have ones on ventilation, home infusion, hemodialysis, again, all focused on empowering clinical engineers to empower the patients. And also all of the clinicians and partners we work with in healthcare around the environments that have become much broader. GCEA and the Healthcare Technology Foundation agreed to merge in 2021 in order for us to become your global healthcare technology foundation and program. The committee leadership itself is globalizing. We have participants from Brazil, Japan, South Africa, the UK, and the US, and more are welcome. We welcome folks who would like to contribute to this global education and empowerment.
Please show your slide, please.
It
is not
is
showing the next slide.
I apologize. It is showing on my screen. Is it not just
not advancing?
I'll try again. I'm so sorry. This is a weird quirk of Zoom, I guess, in my system. Bear with me. Give me one moment.
That's okay.
For all the work that I do in healthcare, you would think that I'd get some breaks in technology. Let's come back again. I wish someone would someday explain
Okay, we have the first slide, and you were talking about.
So here, are you seeing the oxygen therapy brochure?
Not yet. Slide 1 is on.
We're not seeing your full screen, Elliot. You have to share the full screen of the presentation. It's a different window.
Hang on.
That's okay.
Try one more time. Is it advancing this way?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. There's some defect. I apologize. Here is a sample of the brochure in English. These are free, by the way. They're posted at our website. Here is a sample of the brochure in Spanish posted at our website. We have brochures on, as I mentioned, home infusion, home ventilation, and home hemodialysis, and other topics. In 2021, we merged with GCEA to become your program. The leadership itself now has Brazil, Japan, South Africa, UK, and the US, and really we would welcome additional participants who want to broaden the impact in the education and innovation areas. We're expanding HTF's outreach and programs to a global footprint, so we would also expect, for example, to translate some of our brochures to other languages to meet other needs. And we're discussing innovative and globalized CE empowerment and education and fundraising programs so that we can disperse funds to other countries, perhaps, or universities, or even societies to create innovative programs that empower clinical engineers in your environment. Together we can make it better. If you'd like to volunteer time, funds, or other resources, here is my email address. And I'll close on this. Look, I've been in this field for almost 50 years. That's like a half a century, right? And I am an expert in computers and information technology, and yet I still get crushed by technology challenges. We're in an enormous sea change in our field, and this is a global opportunity for us to figure out how to smooth out these kinds of technological glitches. I have an older laptop I'm using today. Many people around the globe have older laptops. We need to empower clinical engineers, patients, physicians to be successful with these technologies in the 21st century. Thanks very much, and humbly, I'll return the floor to you.
Thank you. Excellent presentation about the foundation, really jewel in the Alliance program. And thank you for leading it, Elliot. And Jim just texted me a message. After 50 years, you're still a baby, relatively.
Like I said, I'm humbled.
Let's have the polling question if we can. Thank you. This time we have 3 questions, if you will, and they are relating to the your role with the Alliance. Do you believe that the GCEA is important for the development of clinical engineering field? Sheikh Omar, this is attending to your question. Yes, no, not sure, need more information to answer that. Question number 2, do you believe that membership in the Alliance is important for your association? Yes, no, not sure, need more time to determine that. And the third question, what is the most important role the Alliance can play, in your opinion? Increase clinical engineering recognition, deliver virtual training, networking colleagues and associations around the world, represent the interest of the clinical engineering field, promote professional credentialing like certification program around the world, share information about career opportunity as we are able to move more between countries. 3 questions, please take a look at them, pick the most pertinent answer for you. And Khalil wants me to remind you that just like Elliot said, there is much of the Health Technology Foundation content on our website. All the webinars are available to view free of charge on our Clinical Engineering Alliance website as well. Let's close the polling question. %83 said that the Alliance is important for the development of the field. 94% said the Alliance is important for the association they are belonging to. And we have split between the roles the Alliance can play: increase recognition and promotion of professional credentialing is about even split. And then networking is number 3, and you can see the rest. Thank you very much for participating in the polling question. And I will jump next to actually Kaliroy Stavriano will be better than me to address the publication, because I want you to hear about the journal, the Global Clinical Engineering Journal. And Kaliroy Stavriano is the manager. Show me another clinical engineering journal that has a bachelor, master level, doctorate level manager other than our journal. Kaliroy, it's yours.
Thank you, Dr. Yadin. Thank you. Global Clinical Engineering Journal is the only clinical engineering journal dedicated right now to this field. And it's diamond open access, which means it's offering both authors and readers free access while maintaining high quality peer review and editing processes. We have an experienced copy editor and reviewers as well that ensure that language issues are eliminated. So for those that not originally English speaking like I am, language issues will be not an issue anymore. So we encourage you to send us your manuscript and also to ask your colleagues to do so. Please visit us on www.globalc.org. The journal has published several issues so far, as you can see here, among which are also special issues dedicated to proceedings of the International Clinical Engineering and Health Technology Management Congresses. We have reached volume 5 so far, and we're very proud for that. And the journal is archived and indexed, as you can see here, and we accept manuscripts from this list of topics. Thank you very much.
Awesome, great. Please submit manuscript. Please consider volunteering to become reviewers, and all on the Global Clinical Engineering Journal site, you can do both. You can submit manuscript and volunteer as reviewer. Let's move on to the next topic on the agenda, and that is important part because we are crisscrossing the world to understand better equity, diversity, and inclusion. And there was no better person than Shona Mulally in the Northern Territory to educate ourselves about it and let the world know that it's important for the Alliance to carry the torch on that subject. From the Northwest Territories, the Health and Social Services Authority, and a longtime consultant and technical advisor to World Health Organization, especially in Africa, it is my honor, Shona, to invite you to address this.
Thanks, Yadin. Everyone see my slides and hear me? Wonderful. Great. Yeah, I'm delighted to be speaking this morning for me, I guess this afternoon and this evening and middle of the night for some of you about the work in equity, diversity, and inclusion that we are doing as an alliance and why it's so important to us. And I'm going to just go through 3 questions. And with each of these questions, I'm going to share my thoughts and how the Alliance thinks about these issues. But I also want you to reflect yourselves on the questions. So what does EDI mean to us? What does it mean to us as an Alliance? And just think about, for all of you who have joined us today, what does that mean to you within our profession? So for us, what that means is, and you've heard it a lot this morning already, we're very proud of the diversity of our profession. We're proud of our global diversity, people joining from 30 different countries. We're proud of our diversity of clinical engineering professionals. Everyone belongs in the tent. And what EDI means to us is that everyone belongs in our tent. And sometimes it takes a little bit more effort to make sure that some people actually do feel like they belong in the tent. And so we as an alliance, when we say everyone belongs, we mean everyone, and that includes women in our profession. It doesn't matter where you're from in the world, and particularly for those of you in low and middle income countries, and we have a lot of participation in the alliance from people from those countries, you belong in the tent. No matter what your skin color is, no matter who you love, whether you have a disability that requires accommodations, what you believe, and like I said earlier, what clinical engineering qualifications you bring to the table, everyone belongs. And we talk a lot about equality and equity, and I just put this picture up. It's a great little representation. Some of you might have seen it before. So I would say, most of us would say, yeah, everybody's equal in our profession. And everybody is equal in our profession, but some people need different things, different kind of helps to be equal in our profession. And that's what equity means. So if you look at the picture, the littlest person needs a slightly higher stoop than their bigger sibling or their parent to be able to watch the game. Why does EDI matter? Why does it matter to you? I would guess if you're from a group that hasn't always been traditionally represented in our field, you might kind of have a particular feeling about why it matters. To the Alliance, it matters because we feel very strongly that our profession should serve, should reflect and look like the people that we serve. And those are the patients, the families, and the communities that we serve through our work. That's fundamental. It'll enable us to do our job better. I would also say our diversity is our profession's strength. I've said this before, and I'll say it again now. COVID really showed how global our network is and showed how much we worked together globally as a profession to try to combat an unprecedented in our lifetime challenge that the world was facing. And we need to work hard to make sure everyone feels included. And that means really focusing on some groups of people who haven't always traditionally felt as included or been as represented in our profession. And that means listening to people who have different backgrounds and experiences to us. And I think you've seen already this morning how important that is to us as an alliance and to those of us on the Founders Council. And one thing that's important strategically is that the more diverse and inclusive our profession is, the stronger it is, and the more attractive it is to future clinical engineering professionals. Just like other areas in healthcare, our area is important, it's growing, and we have challenges getting people into the field and retaining them in some places. And the more diverse and inclusive our field is, the easier that will be to do. And then the last question is, how are we promoting EDI? So we've drafted a position statement on EDI. We have an advisory committee. 2 members on that committee came forward after a presentation that I did on this last year, and I would love to say next year that 2 or 3 or 4 more people came forward after this presentation. We're also working to get guidance from EDI experts, particularly those in the engineering field, to make sure that what we're preparing in this area works for our type of work. And we're also working on some resources to share with our member organizations. And most importantly, we want to hear from you. So if you're part of a member organization from a low resource country, for example, and you want to talk more about your work, then please get in touch. If you're involved in promoting women in our profession in your professional association or society, please get in touch. And to that end, here's my contact information. As anyone on the Founders Council can tell you, I'm always happy to talk about EDI and how important it is to our field. So please reach out. Thanks.
Thank you, Shona. We are so blessed in the Alliance to have you and lead this effort and really being ahead of the curve as far as engineering society, I believe so. And looking forward for you receiving a lot of requests to join your effort. Thank you again. At this point, I would like to take a moment and just share with you exciting news. We talked about creating a village. We talked about creating multiple tents in one location. So we have alliances, we have collaboration, we have partnership between us and many, many in the field as well as across the field. After some review of purposes and missions and visions, we visited with the president and the leadership of AAMI, the Association for the Advancement of Medical Instrumentation in Arlington, in the US, in Washington area. And today we have exciting news to share with you, and I will just read the first paragraph of a press release. AAMI and GCEA partner to expand resources available to the global CEHTM community. Today, AAMI and the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance have announced a partnership that will allow the organizations, which are both committed to serving the global clinical engineering and the healthcare technology management communities, to jointly improve patient care experiences through the development and distribution of content and programs for their members and other healthcare stakeholders worldwide. Working together, the organization will identify ways to make tools and resources available for the international audience, as well as identify areas where the co-development of needed tools and resources can support the growth of the field from a worldwide perspective. There's more to the press release. It will be released today. You're the first one to hear that. I'm excited. This is a major development for the Alliance and suggestion that we're going to be impacting a lot of careers in the very near future. Thank you, Tom, for helping with this effort. And I will now continue our program with the award ceremony. I think that we were looking for the video, if I'm not wrong.
I am sharing the video. It's not visible on the screen.
Oh, I see. It doesn't have sound.
I'm really sorry about that. It does not allow me to share the sound, probably.
Okay. Can you move to?
Can I try once more, please?
Absolutely, yes.
Can you hear it now?
No, we see the slides. These are the criteria for the award. Our apology for lacking sound, but Keiko Fukuta prepared a video describing what the awards are, what type of effort they're supporting, and leading to the announcement that the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance Award for 2022 is given to the Italian Clinical Engineering Association, AIIC, in recognition of groups or society for their contribution towards collaboration with other countries to improve their knowledge, education, capacities, and the status in clinical engineering field. Please join me in congratulating the Italian Clinical Engineering Association. I will invite the chairman. Where is AAIC, Doko?
Hi, Yadin.
Great.
Yeah, I see.
It's a pleasure to recognize your alliance and the effort they're making in Europe specifically and elsewhere. The Spanish Clinical Engineering Association, I believe, gave you an award about that, and now the alliance is joining the recognition.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure for us to receive this award. It was kind of a surprise because we've been working quite a bit on the subject and on this particular subject throughout Europe through the years. As Stefano mentioned before, we had some meetings and we're trying to gather up all the associations throughout Europe. This was an idea we shared with you and all the people that are actually now building up the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance board. A couple of years ago, we started out in Rome, if you remember, in 2019, when no one was even thinking about COVID and about meeting through a webcam and a computer in the years. But at the moment being, this is the best way to get in touch with everyone. And I'm really proud to receive this prize for the association with all the people from throughout the world having the chance to stand with us and stay with us in this project. It's a matter of taking little steps through the years. Sometimes it's just like you're not getting too far. I don't know if you can share this feeling with me. And sometimes it's like you have to take a backward step to make two more ahead steps available. So you really have to work through the fatigue. You have to keep up with it. It's just making a long marathon, a long run and you have to make it to the end. And if you think that the target and the aid you're aiming to is worthwhile, then you can go for it. We worked a little bit on that. We have a lot, we gain a lot from being part of the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance as an association, because many of the ideas we're trying to put up throughout Europe are the same ones you've been sharing throughout this entire afternoon. So part of the business is a shared street we're walking on, a shared path we're walking on, going through the same goal, which is trying to make clinical engineering worldwide known profession, and for us a European known profession, given that in Europe we have the same body of laws and that hooks up together many states throughout Europe. So I think we do have to go through this kind of process. So thanks a lot on behalf of the entire Italian Clinical Engineering Division, Clinical Engineering Association, and hope to meet you in person soon, of course, as we usually do. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, of course, in person cannot be replaced by a virtual format. We are too looking to see each other in person. I'm so pleased that your association, Umberto, was recognized today, and everybody on the chat is wishing you congratulations on receiving the award. Don't rest now, we are watching you, so keep on pushing the idea. Thank you. Let's continue with the second award. Again, our apology for the sound, but we have this year a new award, a Technician/Technologist Leadership Award. We wanted to make sure that everybody in our field have an opportunity to serve as a model. So this award recognizes technicians or technology who practices in healthcare those functions and demonstrate outstanding efforts to contribute towards the promotion of clinical engineering field through their leadership, skill, and service. And this year, the award committee under Keiko came up with the detailed parameters and criteria that they judge the award recognition process to worthy candidates, and came back with recommendation that the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance for 2022 Technician/Technologist Leadership Award will be given to Avenel Osias from Haiti in recognition of a technician or technologist who practices in healthcare and demonstrates outstanding contributions towards the promotion of clinical engineering field through their leadership skill and service. Join me in wishing Avenel Oasis all the best on this recognition he well deserved. Thank you, Avenel. I don't know if you are on the line. Is Avenel available?
Yadin, yes, he's online.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, fantastic. Yes.
Yes, good morning, everyone. It was very hard to get on this morning because of internet issue. So, but I was able to get in at the last moment. So I'm taking the opportunity to thank you guys for this award. And I'm very happy to serve my community and my country, Haiti. And I will continue working in the field and closely with the organization in the healthcare system. So, and I was very excited, and on behalf of the Hospital Bienfaisance de Pignon, so thank you again, and this will be posted so that everyone can see what we are doing. Thank you very much for your great work.
Avenel, we are so delighted that somebody like Tom found you and recommended you for the award. And my plea to you is, please talk to other technologists and technicians and ask them to submit candidates for this award for next year, where they can find the form to fill on the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance website under award. I'm so pleased that you are here personally and hear your voice and realizing that so many of us are delighted that you're part of the field. Thank you, Avenel.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Kaliroy, do we have the last polling question? And with that, after that, we'll start with membership association presentations. This will be the last group of polling question. Do you inform your colleagues about the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance? Yes, I do sometimes. Yes, I continuously do that. No, I need more information. Not yet, but intend to do it now that I heard so much about the Alliance. Question 2, will you volunteer to work on one of the GCEA committees? The award, the foundation, the education, membership, all of them available and have vacancies. The answer, yes, I will contact the GCEA manager. Yes, but not right now. No, I'm too busy already. And last answer is not sure. And the last question today is, are you aware of the Global Clinical Engineering Journal? Yes, I read the articles it publishes. Yes, but seldom read the articles. Yes, I submitted a paper to it. No, but where can I find it so I will be able to submit a paper? Those are the answers. No, does not know about the journal. Sorry, no, it does not add value to my career. Somebody that wants to close the journal can mark that answer as correct. So please take a moment to answer the questions. We'll count from 5 down to 1, and we'll show you the results. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see the results. Thank you for informing your colleagues. Those that do sometimes or continuously are sharing the majority. Will you volunteer? Great to see that 2/3 of you said you will. And on the journal, nobody wants to close it. That's great. And you are reading the article, that's also great. And if you want to write editorial column, just like Elliot did before, we have opportunity for you to voice opinion about specific topic by writing editorial column. Thank you for participating. And now, without any further delay, let's jump in to, if we can do Italy first, if it's possible to queue it up, because they need to go to another meeting. Then we'll go with Greece, Japan, Canada, and CISA in Africa, South Africa.
Well, Yadin, I think that Umberto had to leave after the award ceremony. I will take a chance to just say a couple of things on behalf of the Italian Clinical Engineers Association. As already Umberto has mentioned, we since years now, we are trying to collaborate in international networks with the friend Paolo Lago years ago, with the Clinical Engineering Division, but also even before, if we think of the efforts from Mr. Diego Bravar, that you know very well as one of the chairmen of the CD many, many years ago.
It looks like we lost Stefano, and we'll come back to him. Kaliroy, if we can jump to InBit and the Greek presentation, that will be appreciated. InBit Elevate.
Aris Dermidakis, the floor is yours.
Hello, thank you very much for inviting me. Wait for a second to start the presentation. Can you see the presentation? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So let me introduce you of InVIT. We are very happy to be part of the GCEA Alliance. GCEA, InVIT stands for Institute of Biomedical Technology. In Greece, InVIT has its headquarters in Patras, and we also have offices in Athens. And it has a great international presence many years now. It has been a member of AMPES, and we are very, very happy to be member of the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance. In fact, we are proud to say that we are one of the first members of the GCEA, and we're really happy about that. A few words about InVIT. I will try to be very fast. First of all, InVIT is a non-profit organization which constitutes an initiative for the advancement of applied field of biomedical technology. Our aim is to effectively promote the areas of biomedical technology management, assessment, safety and quality in the healthcare sectors. It has been, InVIT was created in 1991. Since then, it has run a lot of European and national projects. One of the first actions of InVIT was in order to promote the biomedical management. It was the creation of a medical equipment management system in 1991, BITMANS. Since then, we've been evolving that, and right now, we're in the 5th generation of a web-based MEMS system that is in use in many medical facilities in Greece. And we have been working in a great number of national and international projects and in collaboration with WHO. Right now, more than 100 hospitals and health centers in Greece are collaborating with the Institute. Our mission is to develop applications and services that address the area of technology management and improvement in quality and safety in healthcare, and to coordinate, let me shrink this, to coordinate national and European projects. The vision is to develop biomedical technology sector in Greece, introduce new technologies and methods and new culture in the field of biomedical and clinical engineering. As I've said, we had a long, many years now, collaboration with WHO. It started with translation, and some examples of the most recent one was reports on IVDs, HTA, high-value medical equipment, and other type and technical specification for medical devices. And a very big report that we had was the report on rationalizing distribution and utilization of high-value capital medical equipment in Greece. We had to do a full search about that, and one of the main problems that we found was lack of data in the Greek state about the medical devices. Now, this is one of also our main services, which is inventorying of medical equipment. So InVIT provides inventory of medical equipment for medical facilities in all Greece. Just from the last 2 years, we have inventoried more than 16,000 medical devices. Biomedical technology management, we offer also services for safety and vigilance, consulting, investment planning for hospital or health regions, and technical specifications. Here you can see some example of the latest inventories that we have done in large scale by InVIT. And one of our main actions, as I said, is the medical equipment management. And we have created Praxis. Praxis is a web-based system that allows medical facilities to work on medical equipment inventory, failure report and repair management, periodic inspections. In general, have a full control of all the medical devices. It allows them to have live image of real-time failure reports, announcements, maintenance, contract management, or geographical data of the equipment. During the era of the first pandemic wave of COVID-19, it was an emergency, as very well Dr. Yardin said, and the hospitals and the health regions in Greece needed to have a clear and continuous update picture of all the equipment they had in order to treat COVID. So in order to help as we could on that, in March of 19, we created a special version of the MEM system of web praxis in order to be focused on the need for COVID. INVIT provided this system for free to use in all Greek hospitals and health units, and gave access to regional and national authorities. As we said, we also focus in safety testing and operational excellence and in electrical safety. And looking on the future, we are working on modern indoor positioning systems in order to be able to track medical devices and real-time patient and personnel location in order to increase work efficiency, minimize patient time in hospitals, and also try the same applications in ambulances that are roaming around our nation. So thank you very much. I hope that it didn't get too much time.
No, very short and to the point. Thank you, Aris. I visited with Aris in his lab, and what he didn't share with you is a tremendous innovation and development that is taking place specifically in skeletal and sensory system of pressure, forces, and acceleration. I was very excited. The sport injury is one area that immediately we could see the application. Thank you about letting us know more about INVIT and the challenges. And I understand that the connection with Italy is now back up working, and we'll jump back to Stefano.
Yeah, sorry for the glitch. My network went down just as I was speaking. So very quickly, as I did before, I will just share a couple of slides just on behalf of the Italian Clinical Engineers Association. I hope that you can see the slide now.
Yes.
Good. Oh, let me see. Okay, so our association was founded in 1993, so it's going to celebrate 30 years next year. We are going to have our Congress in Florence in spring 2023, and it will be an opportunity to celebrate 30 years of our association. Well, you know quite a bit of us because of our involvement in the international activities, and thanks again for the award from the Alliance, as Umberto was saying and presenting. One thing I would like to share with you is a very big growth, not only in terms of our memberships, which is a good indicator, but also in terms of the activities and the involvement that we are having in the country in collaboration with other professions and with the institutions. So a constant dialogue with the Ministry of Health, with the local politics, which is very important, and with other professions like pharmacists and medical physics, everyone that is involved from different angles in the management of medical devices. One thing that we did, and it could be a nice suggestion for those societies that did not do something like this, we made a kind of an identikit. We made an analysis of our member base from the list of members and presented this in form of an infographics. It was very nice also for a press release and presenting to Congress, so that people know what is a clinical engineer in this moment in the country, in Italy. And we have seen a couple of interesting things. First of all, that we have more or less 50-50 men and women, which is a good data. But if we split by age, we see that the younger generation is mostly made of females. So 64% between 20 and 29 years old, clinical engineers are female. There's an impressive growth of women in STEM disciplines and in biomedical engineering in particular, which also reflects on the field in our profession, which is an interesting data. Another interesting data, and this is a peculiarity of our society, but maybe others could be different, is the area of activity, because we have more or less 50%, slightly more in the hospital field. So clinical engineers working on the field as hospital employees, and 47% of members that are also working in hospitals, but with a maintenance company, an external service provider. We accept as members both professionals, because we feel that everyone is contributing to the field of clinical engineering, both employees of an hospital and the people working for an external service provider. And just to close these quick remarks on our society, we have a list of committees, more or less organized, I would say, similarly to some of the committees of the Alliance, but some others are more specific to some operational topics like health technology assessment, telemedicine, and ICT. But we also have a committee on training, organization of the Congress, members management, which are quite similar to the Alliance committees. And we have, as I already said in my presentation earlier during the meeting, we have a list of strategic goals that are absolutely aligned with those of the Alliance. So we are proud members of the Alliance since last year. And if I can close with an invitation again, is for other societies to take action and consider joining the Alliance and working together, both for their own benefit in the specific nation, but also to support each other in a global community. So thanks a lot for this opportunity to present from Italy, and the stage again to Mr. Iadin. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefano. Again, congratulations on the award, and delightful to see such an active society growing, and with a demographic, very interesting presentation. Also, I noticed that over half of the members have specific degrees, academic degrees in the field, which is also very impressive. Let's move on to, I believe, is Jace next from Japan?
I think we can present also one more presentation from Greece.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry, Paris. Absolutely, absolutely.
I'll try to be quick.
That's fine.
So that,
that's fine.
We don't spend too much time on the activities in Greece. I think Iris has already shared with you much of what's happening, but the Hellenic Society of Biomedical Technology has also got, of course, activities towards this direction. So in this joint presentation that we have with Iris, I'll try to brief you on what has been happening. So we are the Society of Biomedical Technology in Greece since the 70s, with more than 100 individual members, and obviously member of the international organizations, including now one of the first members to join the GCEA. And in fact, we try to promote this as much as we possibly can. And clinical engineering in Greece, if it wasn't Professor Palikarakis and his team, I think it would be very much in an embryonic position still. But I think there has been a movement in the last few years at least. And it does not have one center officially representing society per se, but we try to do a chapter within the Hellenic Society of Biomedical Technology so that we can accommodate this need. And we organize biennially conferences. This is a snapshot of the last one we did in 2001, where there was a part of clinical engineering as well as biomedical technology within it. And in fact, we try to align it with the flagship event of the School of Medicine that we have in that Aristotle University where I am based. And now I think biomedical technology innovations and clinical engineering have become part of the agenda of this event. And even last July, we still had an opportunity to develop a whole day's program, in fact, around biomedical technology and biomedical engineering and clinical engineering within this flagship event that I mentioned. But as I said, we took formal activities to create a chapter of clinical engineering within the society so that we don't have a sort of compartmentalized sort of activities, but syndicate them all in one so that we can enhance collaboration of the Greek territory. And in fact, we organize a series of actions to inform clinical engineers, keep them up to date about international activities and developments and initiatives such as this one. But of course, this whole status has been a little bit diverse. It's not uniform at all. Clinical engineering professionals are involved in maintenance, management, and operation of medical devices, but that depends very much on the structure and the organization of each of the hospitals. You see two of these examples here on what kind of activities an clinical engineer will be representing. And an effort now is being made at the regional and national levels to restructure the management of medical devices in Greece. And I think the presentation done by Aris a few minutes ago on the actions taken by the Institute of Biomedical Technology is, I think, on the pioneering, on the edge of these activities. And they were involved in this World Health Organization report for rationalizing the distribution and utilization of high-value capital medical equipment devices in Greece, which was promoted to the Greek ministry, as it wasn't a clear and readily available figure for all medical devices in the hospitals apart from specific categories. As far as education is concerned, I think we try to promote as much as we possibly can through the society. And one of the key things that we do is to constantly update and train, especially young professionals, young scientists. And I think Professor Pelikarakis was one of the pioneers here to establish the first University of Patras BME program in Greece, and it was the older one in the EU, in fact, which is one of the first in its kind to train people in clinical engineering as well as biomedical engineering. I think I borrowed his example and his vision, and last year we also started a biomedical engineering master course at Aristotle University in association with the society and institutes like INVIT, where we do have components like a clinical engineering thing, which we try as much as we possibly can to promote, because I think it's one of the major roles a BME professional should have, both in his training, but also in his career later on. And we took actions. I'll run a few of them quickly. During the COVID-19 pandemic, as it was mentioned on many occasions earlier, clinical engineers were in the front line, and there was an extra sort of extraordinary mobilization of them worldwide, especially by CED and IFMB and the World Health Organization. We followed up this example to sort of try to make sure that we have provide support to the professionals with regards to biomedical technology products at the front line, and also at the management of medical devices and donations, and how these were affected by the healthcare crisis, etc. And as far as disinformation or misinformation is concerned, we try to sort of organize webinars. We organized 5 of them in the period from May to December 2020. They were themed, as you see here at the left-hand side. And I think it made the case because they were attended by several hundreds of people from Greece. Quite a few of them were providing inputs, and if I can give you a couple of snapshots of the educational outcomes we have is that many of them participated and were asked during these QA sessions like we experience here to give us feedback on what they had before and after the seminars. And I think devices like masks and vaccinations were the public sort of interest to promote awareness. And we managed to do that, I think, during these sessions. We, of course, favor international collaborations, and that's why we are part of this alliance and other international organizations. And the chapter, the creation of the chapter is much around this one. And we also want to sort of make a presence, sort of a strong presence in the European actions to create a European Parliament interest group on biomedical engineering, the EPIC BME. We are part of that, and we try to enforce as much as we possibly can the recognition of a clinical engineering profession in parallel with the BME profession and the like. As a closing remark, I would like to say that evolution is achieved through collaboration only, and we are much in favor of this activity. That we also think that is enhancing our training capacity here and our professional syndication. Thank you very much. And congratulations for the whole event.
Professor Banos Bamidis, thank you very much. Excellent presentation, very informative. I specifically understand the involvement with disinformation and showing results of the before and after education were provided. This is something that in COVID-19 era, unfortunately, we saw a lot of disinformation. So great idea for the clinical engineers to get involved with that. I appreciate very much your presentation. You mentioned a physician, Greek physician, Aristotle. I remember, I think it's the island of Kos I visited, where Hippocrates maybe have the first hospital and the plants that they use for treatment around it, and loved it a lot. Thank you. We'll jump to our new member from Canada.
Hello, hi everybody. It's Murray Rice here, and I'm the president of the Canadian Medical and Biological Engineering Society. We're actually a new member of GCEA, so really pleased to be able to introduce ourselves to you here today and make new friends and collaborators. I'd given some slides to Kalru. Are you able to show them, or should I present?
Please present.
Okay, sorry, I'll share my screen.
Thank you for being flexible, Maureen.
That's okay, no problem. Yeah. All right, we're the Canadian. So I just want to give you a quick overview, introduce the society to everybody, talk briefly about clinical engineering in Canada and our challenges. So the CMBS we were formed in 1965, so we've been around for over 50 years. And it's a society actually that includes both kind of biomedical engineering in the broadest sense, both academics and researchers, as well as the clinical engineering sector practicing in the healthcare sector. And so then our aims, we kind of have two aims, overall promoting biomedical engineering, but some of the scientific and educational side more for our academic colleagues, and then for ourselves as the professional side, development and advancement of biomedical engineering in Canada and professionals. This is just a quick overview of who we are. We have 265 members from across the country. Actually, now the majority of us are really on the clinical engineering side, with 23 academia. In our society, we both have clinical engineers and biomedical engineering technologists. So we have that representation, and and coast to coast. So to share that. And in our typical activities, we have an annual conference where we have paper presentations, discussions on clinical engineering. We have exhibitors. And so we're actually looking forward to having our first live conference in about 3 years in Vancouver in May. And I'll tell you a bit more about, or give a plug for that in a minute. We have a series of webinars Now we're doing 1 or 2 a month. Our website is actually www.cmbs.ca. And so a number of our webinars are free. So if anybody's interested in participating, you can just go to our website and sign up. Yeah, we also, as an organization, work on developing white papers for common themes across the field for clinical engineers to use. We have a monthly e-bulletin to promote activities. So we're happy to. We've been promoting the GCEA activities through that. And kind of on the international side, we do have an international outreach group. Some of you may know Bill Gentles, he leads that for us. So, so just a quick snapshot of our activities. And yeah, this is our conference coming up in May. So actually our call for papers is out now. So if anybody has a paper, and we just accept abstracts, as you could present an abstract. So if anybody's interested in that, please consider it. And yeah, in clinical engineering in Canada, some of these themes I think have been touched on really by other speakers to date. It's clinical engineering is a mature role in Canada. It's really over the years been growing, but incrementally. It's growing bit by bit each time. The majority of us are healthcare institution-based clinical engineers. But some work for private industry who have a contract with a hospital, and yeah, it's kind of well respected in our healthcare organizations and government. And then the challenges, people talk about, I guess, for the society, but this kind of in some ways reflects the clinical engineering field. As a society, it's just a revenue base to keep. We're not for profit, but we need our membership fees and truly our conference fees have been missing the last couple of years in profit to keep the revenue for the society to continue to grow and develop. And it's a challenge. We want to grow our membership, but we've, as a society, had we've really had a good membership level, but we haven't been able to grow it as much as we'd like. And we find as a society that succession planning is a bit of a challenge. We have a number of great individuals who have contributed to the society over the years, but we need to have that next generation coming up and learning from them and taking over, so that we're doing some planning for that. Actually, as a society, we just had a strategic planning session on last Friday, and kind of talked about all these challenges and are developing plans to deal with that. And there's all sorts of opportunities for us, but these are just kind of, as a society, some of the challenges we're facing. So I think that was my last slide of my quick overview. So thanks very much for the opportunity to introduce ourselves to you here today. And we look forward to working with GCEA and collaborating with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Murray. Very, very good presentation. I believe most of us learned a lot from your presentation. You have a very wide territory to cover, and you showed Northern Territories. And I was thinking about Shona being there.
Exactly. Yes.
All the way to the East Coast. So
yeah,
that's awesome. Also, you talked about developing white paper. I believe that your organization developed a clinical engineering department performance review document.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, we developed.
Can you say a word about it? Where can you find it?
Yeah, so we developed really what's called the Clinical Engineering Standards of Practice, and that's available on our website, www.cmbs.ca. And then there's a shop, and you can, well, for $50 Canadian is the fee, you can download the PDF of that document. I'm glad if you want to look at it now, but we're actually just have a revisions and update to it, and that should come out in the early new year. So we can, I can send an email out letting people know about that when we have the newest version introduced.
I think that's something that I would like to take and move it to the international stage using your model. That would be great.
Yeah.
And Yadin, just to comment about that, that's accreditation of CE departments. It's a really novel idea. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
And November 15, I believe, Shona, myself, and Khalil will have a webinar addressing your association, and we'll talk more about specific steps we can take together.
Yes, exactly.
And Khalil, you heard about the topic you can take to your webinar committee that Maury mentioned, and that succession planning, something that we don't know about, and maybe we should have a webinar about the idea.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's move on. Next member is Brazil. Abaclin.
I think I don't think they are here.
Okay. Peru.
And Yadin, as Peru
I'm
comes, we'll just note that Abaclin is in the midst of a 5-day program on clinical engineering during Global CE Week, a wonderful organization.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay. Hi, can you see my screen?
Not yet. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Thank
you, Yadin. Very pleased to meet you all, and in representation of Luis Vilcauaman, I am glad to present APBIO, the Peruvian Bioengineering Association. And we'll start by saying that this is an association created a really number of years ago. And through the years, and the members who are diverse, engineers, physicians, managers, we have been working always located, focused on hospitals. Hospitals in the beginning, because Peru has a gap, as most of the low-income middle countries, in the knowledge and awareness about clinical engineers. So we are working more about engineers from diverse specialties working in the field of health. So we started with hospitals, mainly with the health care staff, diverse medicines, physicians, nurses, etc. Through the years, APBIO has been developed partnerships with Ministry of Health, National Institute of Health, the academia, of course, and the prestigious international organizations like PAHO, WHO, and IFMB, of course. As one of the priorities always has been maternal and perinatal health, mother health, we have been making always partnership with specialties, experts, and also the National Institute regarding the issue, the topic of maternal health and perinatal health. I am honored and very proud to say that the first clinical engineering unit, you may call it clinical engineering department office in Peru, was created with the support of APBIO Health Technopole Sengues in 2011. And this is a very important issue because it was recognized by the Ministry of Health like a best practice, and for several reasons. Of course, the increase of this creation has been not as we would like to. We have in the country, again, several challenges, but certainly the office and the practice started and is ongoing in our country. I am talking about public health sector in Peru. Members of APBIO diverse has been publishing articles, papers, posters. I am just sharing with you the book we wrote by Elsevier, and we are very proud about it. It's in English, was in English, and has a scope not just from a development country, but include perspectives from our partners from developed countries as well. Through the years, we have been APBIO involved as well in the creation of the undergraduate career biomedical engineering program. This is a unique project because we are not inventing the career. The career has been created a number of years in the developed countries and in not developed countries as well. But in 2011, it was the very first time with two of the most prestigious universities, Pontifical Catholic University in engineering and Universidad Peruana Cayetano Heredia in health sciences, decided to create a partnership, a unique partnership, to create together and join efforts together in the creation of the biomedical undergraduate program. I was honored to be called as a PO and as an individual as well, to be called by the two presidents of the university, because I am working in both universities as professor and researchers. I was talking about diversity, gender, and efforts. I was the only woman participating in the committee. And after the number of years, we have not been inventing, we're working with benchmarking, with ISMBE collaboration, with ACCE collaboration, with the participation of Coral and other organizations to improve and discuss the pertinence and the alignment of the program to the needs and context of Peru. And we developed the program, the academic program, in 2015. It was delivered to the presidents of both universities, and in 2017, the career started. At the moment, we are one of the most successful in the field of academia, and we are very proud about our students who are already working in papers, winning awards around the world. And you know, the program is in evolution, is of course being updated, but we are proud of this PO's contribution as well. This is the program, and we have been keep working in outstanding efforts like the one about publishing in Clinical Engineering Handbook, and talking about some of the international projects we are working with. We would like to share this one because this is a intercontinental collaboration between several organizations, and this is preventing diagnosis using smartphone. As all the trends in the global arena, Peru is more and more engaged in digital health, e-health, and we are absolutely aware about the close relationship between clinical engineers and digital health and artificial intelligence as well. So many things will come about these issues in the next months and years. APIO is supporting expert diplomas, not just in Lima, but in the country, in partnership with the academia, the College of Architects, and other organizations like the Peruvian College of Engineers. And talking about this, excuse me, and last, we are part members of the Health Technology Management Committee of the Peruvian College of Engineers. And since then, since 2019, before the pandemic, we have very close to the Peruvian College of Physicians, and together we are making activities like workshops, expert meetings, discussion of some policies around health technology, etc. This is sort of a selected part of the activities we have been doing, and we are very proud about the exciting next steps we are going to be done in partnership, of course, with GCEA. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rosanna, for filling in. Very nice presentation. We learned a lot about clinical engineering in Peru. And if you can stick around for questions coming in, that would be appreciated.
Sure.
I would like to go back to our visitors from Brazil, and Bruno Roma has joined us, president of ABECLIN, and we will be happy to provide you the camera and the microphone. Bruno?
Hi, Eugene. Thank you so much. And my name is Bruno. I am vice president of ABECLIN. There is Brazilian Society of Clinical Engineering. Our president, Ricardo, is not available for this meeting because he's in the airport and everything. And we really appreciate be part of Global Clinical Engineering Alliance. We believe that it's very important to have this space of discussion and training, and we are sure that we can make a higher level of clinical engineer being part of this group. To talk about our advances of this last year, we are advancing a little bit about the recognizing of clinical engineering in Brazil. We are facing some challenges in the politicians area, but we are sure that with your support and the support of other associations, we may keep forward in develop. I just want to say very brief things here. We are very pleasure to be part of Global Clinical Engineering Alliance. We really understand of the importance of this group to enhance clinical engineering all over the world, and about the recognition, about training. It's aligned with our objectives in Brazil also. We would like to say that we are developing clinical engineers in Brazil in many subjects, like trainings and holding seminars, webinars, discussions, and we can see and we can feel that the professionals are engaging all the discussions and being part of this development more and more, as I believe that the pandemic also helped us to get more people involved. We are in Brazil. We have something new. We have ONA, that is similar as Joint Commission in the United States, and now this group of ONA is qualifying clinical engineering companies that is 30 parts in hospitals. So now we have one more certification for those companies as 30 part of clinical engineers. It's very important to develop the quality of clinical engineering in Brazil. We are also supporting a professional council of engineering in Brazil. As they are visiting hospitals all over Brazil to check if engineering activities are being held by qualified professionals. And this is another major step forward to enhance the quality of clinical engineering in Brazil, the services, and we hope we are contributing for the next generations of this in the hands of the quality services in Brazil. That's it. Thank you very much, Yadin. We are very, as we are a family, as all of you said, we really help. I really would like to be with you presentially very soon, so we can discuss more and more about clinical engineering. Thank you very much.
Yadin.
Yes.
Just to add, I think Bruno forgot, but ABCLIN just promoted a 2 days webinar in commemoration of the CE week, and the outcome was fantastic. We had, including discussions about certification of clinical engineers here in Brazil. That's the one I want to talk about. Okay, Bruno. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Khalil.
Thank you, Khalil, for making the presentation complete. We learned about ABCLIN and the clinical engineers activity in Brazil. The JACE recording still have a sound problem. And
thank you. I think Kariroy, can you do it for me? Let me try again.
Okay.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Keiko Fukuda as a representative of Japan Association for Clinical Engineers, called JACE. We thank the GCEA board for coordinating this opportunity for a presentation. Moreover, we are very honored to be a member of GCEA. Let me introduce our association. Mr. Takeshi Honma is the chair director, and our office is located in Tokyo. It consists of Department of General Affairs, Finance, Committees, and Academic Affairs under the board directors. Among them, I'm a member of the International Exchange Committee, which is sharing information between global and domestic organizations. Moreover, we participate in academic congress for raising awareness and recognition of JACE. Under the JACE, there are prefecture association of CEs. Right now, every prefecture has established each association, and there are 47. One of their activities is holding annual area congress for sharing information for each area. Before we explain the history of JACE, let us explain the history of clinical engineers in Japan because it is related to each other intimately. Before 1987, the engineers who worked in the hospital, especially in implementing hemodialysis machine, existed, but they were not licensed or certified. During that period, there were some incidents and accidents between medical devices and patients. Therefore, the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare recognized it, and they promulgated Japan Clinical Engineers Act in 1987 for safety control of medical devices, especially life support system. As soon as the act was promulgated, the specific curriculum was created, and people need to follow it in school and must pass the national examination to hold the national license of clinical engineer. 3 years later, the originated association of CEs was established. After that, we are approved by the MHLW and the Cabinet Office accordingly. And finally, it became the current association. So, in total, it's been 32 years. Since the enactment of the Clinical Engineer Act in 1987, the number of CEs has gradually increased, and in 2020, there are about 48,000 national qualified CEs. Along with that, the number of JACE members is gradually increasing, and by 2021, there are almost 22,000 members. Approximately 97% of JACE members work in hospitals or clinics with high clinical demand and supplies. Most of the CEs are allocated to the clinical engineering department or unit under the clinical technology department. However, nowadays, workplace ratio has been changing due to the diversification of work style. The main task of GCEA in Japan in hospitals and clinics is operating equipment in the clinical environment under the direction of physicians. Typical clinical fields in which GCEAs are involved are respiratory therapy, perfusion, hemodialysis, and so on. Only 20% of task is health technology management and 10% is patient safety. The aim of JACE are to enhance professional ethics of clinical engineers, study of academic skill and quality improvement, improving the reliability of medical care and welfare supported by medical devices such as life support systems. With the above, contribute to the progress and enhancement of medical care and welfare for the people. In order to achieve this aim, we work closely with the Prefecture Engineering Association. Activities that we conduct include established guidelines, formulated a life education system such as e-learning courses, clinical practice training, workshops, and seminars. Moreover, annual congress, kids and student seminars, developing the certificate for professional clinical practice, such as the respiratory therapy, hemodialysis specialist, surgical specialist, cardiovascular invasive specialist, hyperbaric therapy specialist, and so on, and the related publications. Since JACE members have been doing a lot of work related to clinical practice, JACE produces many training courses and seminars, which is the differences from association in other countries, we think. During the COVID-19 outbreak, MHLW were able to fully understand the need of clinical engineers, such as the management of ventilator and the use of ECMO, by collaborating from the early stage of outbreak with JACE. JACE Clinical Engineer Act was partially amended in May 2021. The amendment to the Clinical Engineer Act added more various new scope of work, which required the CE to contribute to physicians' task shifting, sharing, engage in the development of medical devices that meet the need of the medical field. What our challenges are: the government has decided new regulation on overwork works for physicians will begin in 2024. This means that we have more opportunity to work in the clinical field widely. Therefore, we need to gather data to inform the public and government about the rule of CEs, which will in turn impact national strategies and their implementation, as well as create new tasks for CEs to contribute to collaborative approaches to medicine. We need to improve the quality of CEs. This can be done by establishing more lifelong learning systems for CEs and creating an environment capable and constantly improving skills. We need to establish a system for information sharing and professional development activities between JACE and its members. We need to strengthen JACE by deepening the partnership with our members, and regional CEs associations. In summary, JACE has 30 years experience, about 22,000 members, publish a lot of clinical guidelines for CEs, and seminars are often held, conducting activities to raise awareness among the general public, including children, working closely with the MHLW, contributing to work shifting. In the future, we aim to utilize the work reform of physicians to expand the new scope of CE's work, improve the quality of CEs, and strengthen cooperation among the members. Thank you for your attention. We look forward to contributing with you.
Thank you again. In the 10 minutes that left, I would like to open the mic to individual member. Jean Nogi is one of them, and then we can summarize.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, I'm in a dark here, so I'm in transit going to a conference. So looking for the right place where you can see me as dark and in the darkness. So give me a second. I will try to move around so I can join in correctly. So give me a second. So thank you very much. I'm on my way to APIBQ, a clinical engineering conference in Quebec. So I still have an hour and a half drive. I have my presentation actually loaded. I don't know if Kaliroy can put it on. It will be easier.
Yes, of course, but we cannot share the sound. Would
Okay,
you like
so I will speak
without...
over. No problem. So I will just present it then. So
thank you so much.
Okay, I will try to share my screen here. So anyway, my name is Jean Goy. I'm the head of instrumentation and clinical engineering in NHS Tayside in Dundee in Scotland. So I chair the Scottish Clinical Engineering Steering Group, which is part of the network. It's a group that represents all the heads of clinical engineering in Scotland, but I'm also one of the leads representing Scotland in the UK clinical engineering wide network, to which actually my dearest colleague Dan Clark sits on. So this is a group that look at the clinical engineering issues for the entire nation. The clinical engineering in Scotland, how it is organized. First, Scotland is one of the devolved nations of the United Kingdom. So our National Health Service in Scotland is also known as NHS Scotland. Is one of the most advanced and organized publicly funded healthcare system in the world. So the NHS Tayside where I work is a health board that deliver healthcare to an estimated population of 500,000 within 2,182 square kilometers. So it takes on different areas of Scotland, so which is quite area. And how the some of the work that we do actually, the remit of clinical engineering in Scotland, it's and in NHS, we stretch beyond just maintenance and service of hospital equipment. So our service include, we are part of what we call the medical physics and clinical engineering network. So it's a network that is made of two sub-networks. One is the medical physics, and we are the sub-network of clinical engineering. So we look at actually within the network, all the overall clinical diagnostics matters of national interest within the network. So, so we interact with all our normal activities, including service maintenance, quality assurance, quality management. We also get involved into on top of patient safety and health technology management. We connected to the University of Dundee, where my department of NHS Tayside is actually deliver some of the curriculum in clinical engineering and biomedical engineering. So as such, recently, only this year, where I am actually a senior lecturer there, we have developed new modules specifically in an MSc in biomedical engineering, and we've expanded it to what we call continuing professional development to allow our technologists and engineers who have joined the profession over the years, they can actually expand their knowledge and skills. So those new courses are, for example, neonatal intensive care and neonatal technology, medical devices quality management system, medical robotics and operation rooms technology. These particular modules, which is I've developed, is because for the last few years, the Scottish government have assigned Da Vinci robots to every hospital. So for us to prepare ourselves to make sure our engineers, our clinical engineers are ready to support clinicians in those environments, we are developing these modules specific so that we equip the new generation of clinical engineers with the tools that is required for them to do their job. So another module is the general anesthesia technology and medical technology management and governance. So inside the University of Dundee, if you can see on these slides, we've created what we call the hospital on campus, where we can build a specific department. These courses are really hands-on. So we build a hospital on campus where we put all the technology, but we use also simulators where students can simulate activities like if they were in the hospital. With the aim, when they complete their degrees, they don't need a lot of extra training. And on the picture at the bottom, we actually have a Da Vinci robot for teaching, which is in our labs. And finally, at clinical engineering here in Scotland, we also get involved into global citizenship. And within the global citizenship arena, we go to developing countries, we participate in, normally we help what we call our champions, who are our colleagues, clinicians, and ourselves who go to developing countries. We provide them with equipment, we provide them with training, we provide them with what they need when they go to developing country, they can be successful. And I will complete by showing one of the assignments that we did ourselves in clinical engineering to do a capacity building in Uganda. So in Uganda, for example, this is how we do it. We do what we call an ethical donation of medical devices. So every medical device that we donate from Scotland, we do it in a specific way so that the entire life cycle of medical devices as it's specified in a health technology management is taken care of. So we liaise with those, with our partners, and we supply them with the equipment, we supply them with the test equipment, then we train them. But in this particular case, in this image, you could see me training the team, and then after we brought some of their own engineers into Scotland to provide them with further training in health technology management. I will stop there. Thank you and happy Clinical Engineering Week.
As always, Jean, you're doing great work, and I wish more of our colleagues around the world will become aware of it. Maybe this was one opportunity to spread the work around very nicely. I'm looking forward for Scotland and the UK to become members of the alliance so we can work together on that.
for sure. We're working on it. We're doing the paperwork currently. So very, very soon.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, I understand that we're running the time limit we have. I will not have time to put list of challenges, but we did take notes and we going to be following up on it. And Tom, I don't know if you had a chance to scribe some of them, but I would like to call on the Founders Council to see if there are any final comments they would like to contribute at this point.
So Yadin, we told you we could fill 3 hours easily because our cup runs over here. So
yeah,
what a wonderful challenge right there.
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah. Khalil, any final comments? Jim?
No, Yadin, I found it excellent at the presentations. We learn a lot. That's true. And I think we should keep going with them. I mean, contact frequently more. Contact these members more frequently. I know it's quite a big work, but it's good to know what they need and what they have and what they need.
Okay.
Yadin, perhaps our annual meetings could become quarterly.
It's Elliot.
I'm still looking for applications so far during this. I have 1 MO and 3 individuals. So I'd like to have about 10 times that.
Good, great.
I'd like to just add in the 2 things. One is that we have mentioned a couple of times, several of you, digital health, and we now know that digital health is absolutely a part of our ongoing current and future professional needs, and so that's a vast area of growth and development. Gene, I think your presentation about Da Vinci robots and others of us have talked about artificial intelligence open up areas that 10 years ago we said we're not going to promulgate through our field, or at least not yet. And in fact, they are today. And the pandemic perhaps has driven some of that. Another area that Gene and several of you brought to mind, and Yadin, you've been a champion for, is supporting disaster recovery and whether it's a tsunami, an earthquake, a fire, a hurricane. There are so many opportunities for us to collaborate in some meaningful way. And perhaps my very humble suggestion is we might start with supporting our own. So if we have someone in a country, I'll just pick Rwanda as an example, who is facing a disaster, perhaps the first thing we do is help support them in supporting their community rather than trying to boil the ocean and deal with all of the supplies and equipment and everything. Just food for thought for us. There are tremendous areas that GCEA can grow into, and I think should grow into, in serving our global community.
I would like to congratulate the extraordinary session. Of course, there have been some techniques problems, but understandable. It is amazing the way, as a member of GCEA, through appeal, I'm very honored to confirm not just the pertinence, but the value to be member of GCEA in order to improve and exchange knowledge on time to each one of the members of GCEA and consistent to their own priorities. The presentations of my partners here make very clear what is the value of GCEA and what are the trends in the future for us members and the future members to be more improved in the next steps. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosanna. I would like to call on Nicholas for a few words as a summary.
It was a very nice meeting. I think we presented very well what GCEA is doing, what we are expecting. Unfortunately, the number of participants was very low, to my opinion. And that's probably a problem that we have to face in the future.
Thank you, Nicholas. I would say differently. I I realize that we will have small audience because we are beginning. And in the future, we will not have to face it because we will grow. So I just have looking at the glass half full rather than half empty. But thank you for your comments. And I don't know if Stefano, you're still here.
Yeah, as I mentioned more than once during my presentations, I invite, even if we have now 47 participants from Zoom, I see there were more before during the meeting. Any one of them being able to speak to their board of their national association they want to join, Yadin gave you the link. You know how to reach out to us or to the website of the Alliance. Registering is straightforward. This is a call for action. Join us and help us build this new organization.
And again, thank you for being here to receive the awards on behalf of AIIC. And thank you, Avenel, for coming and joining us. And hopefully you're learning also about the world as being part of Haiti. Li Bin, if you're still with us, you have any summarizing comments? And Kaliroy Stavriano.
I'm very pleased and honored to be part of Global Clinical Engineering Alliance. What more could I say?
Great. We are blessed to have you with us and appreciate all the work you do every day. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I don't know if Lee, if you're back with us, I don't see you. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I am pleased to represent the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance to you and the world, and looking forward to network, collaborate, and align with all the societies out there. And with your help, we're going to make it better. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
everybody.
much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.